Children's Storytime, presented by BMGFly. Assalamu alaikum. That means peace be unto you. Today we're reading Bashirah and the Amazing Bean Pie, written by Ameenah Muhammad-Diggins, illustrated by Amir Dumi, read to you by Nia Malika Dixon. Today we are reading Bashirah and the Amazing Bean Pie, written by Ameenah Muhammad-Diggins, illustrated by Amir Dumi, edited by Layla Abdullah Polos. Good morning, class. Teacher Nafisa stood at the front of the class in a beautiful gray blouse. Eid Mubarak. Monday is Culture Day to celebrate our diversity. I want each of you to bring to school a dish that best represents your culture. The students stood up in excitement. Mustafa turned to Bashirah. I'm going to make and bring jollof rice. I'll ask my Ummi to help me bake the biryani, chimed Fatima. I'm going to bring bean pie. Bashirah smiled and rubbed her tummy. It's my favorite. This year, I'm finally old enough to help cook. My pop-pop is teaching me the family recipe. Everything sounds delicious, said Teacher Nafisa. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you after Eid break. Everybody's excited. At home, Bashirah giggled and squirmed while her mother put the finishing touches on her Eid outfit. Mom usually stayed up late the night before, making sure the entire family looked marvelous. Her mother tugged at the dress. You're going to get stuck with this pin if you don't stop moving around. I can't help it, Bashirah rubbed her socked feet against the carpet. I am too excited about tomorrow. Mom placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder. One more wiggle, girl, and it'll be uneven, so hold still. How could anyone expect her to keep calm while thinking about all those presents, the fun and food? She could almost smell the bean pie already. Spending time with Mom the night before Eid is so special. Okay, that should do it. Mom patted her on the bottom. Off to bed, Bashirah. We have to wake up so early so we don't miss Eid Salat. Bashirah tossed and turned under her blankets, imagining all the fun things she was going to do. All of her cousins were coming over after the Eid Salat to eat. Her Jeddah and her pop-pop were on their way to help prepare tomorrow's Eid dinner. She stared at the black ceiling. It's going to be amazing, inshallah, but I need some rest. She started to dhikr, calmed down, and began drifting off to sleep. So much excitement. Just as she fell asleep, the sound of a car pulling up outside woke Bashirah. Pop-Pop's booming voice drifted into her bedroom. Assalamu alaikum, family. Hey now. Bashirah hopped out of bed and dashed downstairs. Surely Mom wouldn't mind. Wa alaikum assalam, Pop-Pop. She threw her arms around her grandfather. Pop-Pop kissed her on the cheek and tickled her chin with his beard. So, are you ready to throw down in the kitchen tomorrow? Yes, sir. Bashirah jumped into her Jeddah's arms. There they are hugging. Jeddah or Grandma or Jima or Gigi or Grandmommy, Pop-Pop or Grandpa or Granddaddy. So many wonderful names for our grandparents. The next morning, everyone was dressed and ready for Eid. They looked so good. Taking pictures. Nowadays, people get all dressed up and take pictures, put it on the internet. It's called Blackout Eid. You got to check that out. See all those pretty pictures. Everyone looked beautiful walking up to the masjid. That's where a lot of those pictures are taken, at the masjid. Eid is so much fun. After the Eid prayer, Bashirah and her family returned home. Soon the smell of fried chicken, sweet potatoes, macaroni and cheese, and green beans filled the house. She put on her apron and ran to the kitchen to help make the bean pie. That's such an honor with Pop-Pop. The trick, Bashirah, Pop-Pop stood next to her at the counter while she poured ingredients into the blender, is to get the beans as smooth as you can. Not too much cinnamon and a dash of nutmeg. Sounds like a family recipe. All right, time to put these in the oven. Pop-Pop placed the pie dishes on the rack and closed the door. Bashirah watched with excitement as the bean pie browned in the oven. Gotta wait, but it's worth it. It was turning out to be the best Eid ever. Time for prayer, called Dad. Everyone, go make your wudu. All right, now you gotta wash up for prayer, and everyone gathers together. It's gonna be a lot of folks to gather together. 3 generations of Muslims, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, they all prayed together. Such a blessing. After Salat, everyone sat down to eat. Bashirah ate and chatted until her belly was full. Bashirah, her mother called her into the kitchen after the meal. Please take this plate of food to Miss Johnson next door. She sent food to their neighbor every Eid because a Muslim must be kind and generous. It's always a wonderful tradition to share your food and celebrations with your neighbors. Dad brought the desserts to the table. Pound cake, ice cream, and Bashirah's very first bean pie. MashaAllah, this bean pie is amazing. Uncle Hassan licked his lips. Who made it? Bashirah, everyone exclaimed at once. They were so excited for her. I'm sure it tasted so good. When she arrived at school, Bashirah beamed as she walked in with her bean pie for Culture Day. It was terrific. Teacher Nafisa stood at the head of a long table full of dishes, each with a special flag showing the country it represented. You see, children, there are Muslims all over the world, and Allah encourages us to get to know each other. This sounds like my favorite surah ayah. She held a finger in the air. Remember, neither our languages or our heritages make us better than anyone else. Allah looks at our good deeds. That's the American flag right there for her bean pie. I love it. And that must be the jollof rice, because I think that's the Nigerian flag. Bashirah looked around at her classmates eating from plates filled with food from many different cultures, all of them extraordinary. Teacher Nafisa stood up and recited a verse from the Quran while the students finished their meals. It's my favorite one. O mankind, indeed we have made you into nations and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the noblest of you in the sight of Allah is the best in conduct. Surah Hujurat, Ayah 13. My favorite ayah, my favorite surah ayah. I love it. Now, said Teacher Nafisa, it's time for some of Bashirah's special dessert. The room filled with oohs. Everyone dug into the bean pie. All agreed it was one of the best things they ever tasted. Eid Mubarak. Wonderful way to end after eating all those delicious dishes. The best dessert, the bean pie. And as a treat, the author has included her recipe for bean pie. So if you get this book, not only do you get a really great story, but you can make your own bean pies at home. It seems like something fun that you can do with your family. Your mom or dad can help you make the bean pie. And I'm sure it will be delicious, just as it was for Bashirah and her family. Wonderful, wonderful story. You can find this book at a bookstore or ask for it at your library. I ordered this book online at Amazon, and you can too. I suggest you get your very own so you can also have that recipe and make the bean pie. All right, guys, I will see you next week with another story. I hope you enjoyed this one. Assalamu alaikum. Bye.